Okay, morning guys. It's Sean the EV bloke here, back with another video. Now I've had a few comments about they'd like to see how the adaptive cruise control works on here. So I thought it'd be a good day to do it. It's a nice sunny, bright day, 15 degrees. So I thought we'd go out and just have a look at how it works. Now, in my experience of it, we've always got to focus, of course, remember what it's actually all about, which is level 2 adaptive cruise control. This is not autopilot driving or anything like that. Of course, it's just there to assist you, generally on motorways, I guess, but it can be used on A roads and B roads, particularly A roads, straight ones. Where I'm driving on right now, going around all these bends, would be totally pointless, really, because it wouldn't be able to cope. It would just keep cutting off. Yeah, that's not the idea of it. So, but people have asked me to show what it's like on this car, and what I can say is motorways and things like that, it holds up okay. You know, it'll keep you in the lane. It'll do what it says on the tin: keep you in the lane, keep you a safe distance from the vehicle in front. But it'd be good to show you how it all operates on here. So that'd be one thing. While we're driving out to get onto the roads to drive on, a few things to update you with that I've just noticed fairly recently. One is the down here, the my wife's got her phone there at the moment, which just actually doesn't charge up. But this is the charging pad, of course, for the car. And what I found with that is it just overheats, and it actually comes up on the screen here: remove phone, overheating or whatever. So as the weather's getting a little bit warmer, that's almost becoming. It doesn't actually cause any damage, I don't think, to the phone, but it just gets to a point where it's so warm and hot, I don't think it's actually genuinely doing anything. So it's just not even charging, really, and the phone's just getting hotter. But the USB points work absolutely brilliantly on this, on my phone anyway, and they're pretty quick as it goes, really. Right, so we're getting onto a nice straight road, so let's have a little look at this adaptive cruise control here. So your adaptive cruise control in this vehicle is all centered around here. So this is your adaptive cruise control, and also how far away you want it, and all that kind of stuff. So if we start pressing the button, so you've got this for your lane centering, so it will come up on here for lane centering, and then of course over here is your adaptive cruise control. It comes up there with a minimum of 20 miles an hour because that's the lowest it can go to. So you just up that to where you want it. So this is a 50 mile an hour stretch. So we're into adaptive cruise control now. So if I take my foot off the accelerator, it's now taken over and it's doing an okay job. You can also use these buttons down here for how far away you want the vehicle in front. I tend to keep this one on the maximum. So just if you're on an A road like this, just obviously be very careful, because it's not a motorway, it's an A road, so you can have anything happen. A car can pull out, a tractor can pull out, anything can just suddenly pull out of the road. So you've got to always be wary and cautious of that. But it does a fairly good job. As you can see on this road, it's nicely lined as well. So we've got nice lines on the inside and on the outside, so it's keeping it nicely centered in there. Let's see how it copes with this bend, because we're coming up to a bit of a bend, and we've also got a lorry in front of us, so we have to keep an eye on what that's doing, but we're fine. So, and it's done a fairly good job. So it's done a fairly good job of keeping us there. So yeah, it's okay. I've still got my hands on the steering wheel. It will allow you to have a little bit of time off without touching it, and it will still not beep for a little bit, and then it start bleeping at you. I did try it once on doing it as if I'd had a medical emergency. So in other words, just taking my hands off and seeing what it does. It just cuts off. So that's rubbish, because obviously what you want from an adaptive cruise control scenario is you want some kind of safety feature built in. Now let's see how it does here as we start to approach vehicles that are going a lot slower than us. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's biting in a bit, but I'm having to now brake. It's not really picked up that well enough. So I've had to sort of put my foot on the brake there. It was slowing down a bit, but it wasn't really kicking in. That's what I'm saying. On these A roads, Uh, maybe not the best, obviously, but still should be able to, to lower the speed. It's got a radar cruise control on the front. You should be able to slow down in time, and you should be fine. But in that case, I had to use the brake to get myself back on. So let's resume. So to resume, you just click up here once, and then it resumes it back on the speed. So we've got a 50 mile an hour on there, so we can see that that's the speed there, and now it's taken over. So it should now keep us a safe distance from the car in front. We've got our lines here of how far distance we want, which is the maximum. I've got it set to. It's lane centering, so it's keeping it in the lane. Now we want to try and reduce the speed here because we're going up to a 40 mile an hour zone. So we're going to drop that 50 down to 40. So it goes in increments of 5. So there we are. So that's down to 40. Well, that kicks in really hard. That's brought us down quite nicely to 40. So that's good. Now let's just see how it takes this little bend here. Let's see how it takes it. Does it keep it nicely in the centre? I actually think my Hyundai Ioniq, which I had before this vehicle, is actually better than this. I have to say, this one's you don't always quite feel very in control. But I will say one thing: BYD have never set themselves up as they're looking for self-driving or anything like that. They're not that kind of a company where they much rather let others lead the way on that kind of technology and that kind of thing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn around to this roundabout and we're going to go back and we'll see how it does on the way back. So I'm going to take over here for the moment. So I'm going to put my foot on the accelerator and put my foot on the brakes. So that's now dislodged it's cancelled the adaptive cruise control, right? But it's still set up there ready to go. So we haven't disengaged it totally. We've just taken over, essentially. Obviously, we're coming up to a roundabout, so that would be unusable for adaptive cruise control. But I think it does what it says on the tin. On a motorway, going down straight roads on a motorway, keeping it safety, it's going to do more than fine. And of course, it alleviates that bit of pressure from you on a motorway where you can just relax a little bit. You still obviously got to have your hands on the wheel or near the wheel. And you've got to be prepared for all of that. But nevertheless, it's there. Right, so we're going to engage this again. So we bring this up once. Okay, so the 40 lights up. So foot off the accelerator, it takes over. So we're now 38 miles an hour. Should bring it up to 40. I'm going to put my hands back on because it's only going to bleep in a minute. But it's doing an okay job. But it's nicely lined out here. We've got white lines both sides of the road. So it should be able to pick that up pretty okay. So there we go. So no problems. It's giving it a bit of a shudder. So it went through there. I don't know why. It's a straight road. Sometimes this will turn red, which means it's not adapting very well. So we're coming up to 50 miles an hour now, so we can push this button up twice. That gets us up to our 50. And let's see how it does in keeping a safe distance from this Discovery in front. It'll be interesting to see how it does that. So you see, without the hands on there, I can feel it move. It's not quite centering the lane that well, if you know what I mean. I'm still having to feel like I need to put my hands there all the time. It's also bleeping away. And we've got turning slightly red there. Now I'm going to have to take over because we've got a lorry in the middle of the road up here, so that won't work. So I'll put all you have to do to cancel it, just put your foot on the brake. We've got obviously a brake down here. So we'll overtake that. Oh no, it's just a car loading up on the back there. So there we go. Once we're past that hazard, back up to the 50, foot off the accelerator, and it picks up really quite quickly actually. It doesn't do anything in a linear fashion. It's all a bit jerky. So yeah, on A roads, this isn't really the best. Unfortunately, today I haven't got time to go off down the motorway and give you a real test on the motorway, but we will do that in future videos. But yeah, So that's basically it. So it's what I would call an average level 2 adaptive cruise control. A lot of cars will perform this way, and so yeah, it's nothing special with it, nothing amazing with it, but it's just okay. Now we've got a car looking to pull out, and he has pulled out, so we're going to have to put our foot on the brake there. In actual fact, I'm going to bring it back in and see. Yeah, no, it's picking up there now. It's actually done quite a good job of pulling ahead of me. But that's what you've always got to be careful with, of course, on A roads. It's not to say you can never use it on an A road, because actually this road actually leads to Bristol, and it's just a nice straight road all the way down, and you could probably get more or less away with just using the adaptive cruise control of this sort of 50-60 all the way down, and this would be actually probably more than okay for this car going all the way down there. So yeah, no problems that way. So as I say, got no hands on the wheel at the moment, just letting the car do its job. My foot's not on the accelerator. It's bleeping. It's asking me to put my hands back on. So you get sort of about 20 seconds, something like that, I don't know, without the hands on the wheel. But it's best to just leave them on there, really. That's the way to do it. But well, let's see how it does this corner. So I've got no foot on the accelerator, no foot on the brake, and yeah, it's doing an okay job of that. I can feel it going around the bend fairly well. Lovely clear day, of course. It might be a good idea to try it on a rainy day and see how the radar's picking up. So we're coming up to the end of the junction, so we'll cancel it off now. So foot on the brake slightly, that disengages it. So adaptive cruise control is cancelled. So that's that. And so it can be used on A roads. Probably better to use it on motorways, really, which is really what it's designed for. Let's be honest. Adaptive cruise control level 2, which is what this is. So yeah. So what I wanted to do now is update you a little bit with the channel, and some things I'm a little bit disappointed with, but not quite kind of surprised. And the first one is BYD themselves. I've reached out to them on numerous occasions about getting vehicles from them to have as long-termers. So where you're having them for like a few days, a week or 2 weeks even, possibly, and I've had no response back from going through several different channels, through the Birmingham BYD, who I've got a good relationship with. I can go up any time and take out a BYD and test drive it. Well, anyone can, really. That's absolutely useless for this channel's purposes, because this channel's purposes is not about doing reviews of cars, but it's showing you real world what they like to live with, so that if any of you guys are out to go out and buy a BYD, you've actually got some kind of idea how the cars roughly work. Yeah, there's 101 YouTubers out there, or more than that, doing reviews of cars, but they get it for a couple of hours, do a walk around, do a basic review, and just give you the update, just give you the details of the car. That's fine, but that's not what this channel's about. This is about real world, what's it like to live with this vehicle. So as I say, I'm not getting any headway or any openings on that in that regard. And so for me personally, it's actually kind of useless in that respect, because that's the main part of what I want the channel about. This channel isn't about me. Yeah, I'm just presenting. Like I said to you the other day on a couple of my videos ago, where I said YouTube has several purposes. One is teaching, one is, and all that kind of thing. And that's how I view my channel, is to show you guys, and through the experience I have with the vehicles and with the vehicle on what's going on. Like I just pointed out about the charger, well, if you just took the car out for 2 hours, you would have no idea that overheats, as an example. You might know that in general they overheat, because they do, but the thing is, it just makes actually no sense whatsoever in me just churning out videos about nothing. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I won't do that. And that's why my content's gone down a little bit over the last couple of weeks or so, where I'm not doing quite as many videos, because it makes absolutely no sense, kind of whatsoever, in me producing videos and doing videos for you about things you already know about. You're not coming on the channel to watch me. I can get into this car and do like a certain guy in Mansfield, where he goes around castigating electric cars. I could jump in this and go out and castigate petrol cars, and just for views. And I'm not going to do that, because that's not what I'm about. At the end of the day, that's silliness. I want to actually create videos that are useful to people and mean something, and people can look back at it even years later and say, "Oh, I'm going to get a BYD." I know. Let's go to that EV bloke, because he does quite extensive reviews and helps you to understand more about the vehicles than just doing mindless content. I'm not going to do it. So it brings me to a dilemma, what I do with the channel. So I'd love some ideas from you guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you can, and give me some feedback on the way to move forward with the channel, in terms of content and stuff like that. Because, like I say, the car's holding up really well. It's been lovely to have so far, apart from the little quibbles I've got and the few things I'd like to see them change. Yeah, it's really about all that kind of stuff, really. So at the moment, as I see it, you know, I will, any comments you give me in the comments section about some videos you'd like to see on this car, by all means, I'll always do them. But I might not actually just be churning out content needlessly for the sake of just making videos. I'm not going to do that. And so I'm disappointed. I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed with BYD. I don't know that there's very many UK based owners of this car, or owners of a BYD product, that are doing videos. There's loads in Australia, loads in Asia, of course. They're two a penny. But I might even be the only one. I don't know. But there's very few of us. And if you are doing content on BYDs, let's please link up and do some videos together. But as far as I know, I'm virtually the only one doing it. So if I can't even get the cars from the brand, I'm disappointed with that. I'm annoyed about that a little bit, because you don't have to be a huge YouTube channel to get those kinds of things. And I don't think I will always give an honest opinion. Like I've said before, I'm not paid by BYD. Once I was asked that question, and or any of that sort of stuff. But at the same time, the content has to be relatable and useful and helpful. And if it's not going to be that, then. But anyway, that's for another day to go over all of that. But right now, um, uh, thanks for those that have put the comments in about the adaptive cruise control. We've sort of gone over that now, and we've shown you that now. So it all works off of here, and it's really self-explanatory. This is your distance, and you're forward and you're away. Closer and further away. That's your that's your lane centering. Yeah, that holds you in the lane. And here is your resume, and this is your resume up and down, and all that kind of thing. And you can set your speeds over here. It starts at 20, so it won't operate below that speed, and you just go up as you need it. So it works at an average, I would say. I wouldn't say it's a brilliant one, but I wouldn't say it's a bad one either. I've seen worse on some cars. So it's okay. It does the job. If you're going on a motorway trip, and you're going to be 3 or 4 hours on a motorway, you'll actually thank the Lord for having it, because, as I say, it's very helpful. But there we are. Anyway, I shall catch you, I don't know when, but on the next one. And you guys take care, and some comments at the bottom would be really appreciated on any videos you'd like to see on this car, and moving forward with the channel, really, would be fantastic. Okay, speak to you soon.